Hello. I'm so sorry, guys. We are trying to get these technical difficulties resolved. Let me see if I can add. Oh, yeah. Girl, I gotta do it from my phone. I can't get my computer to work. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I don't know what's up with the
It,
StreamYard. It's like weird. It's freezing. Like you're
yeah, I had to do it from my phone, and it's not what I wanted.
yeah. No, I get it. It still looks weird to me. Like I can hear you, but there's the image, like the video is not. It's frozen still for me.
Oh, yeah, you're frozen to me. Oh, yay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we got some people in here. Hi, guys. We're so sorry. We are going to try to get this done. I'm trying to see if it is better to do it this way. Ugh, no, it's not. Jeez, man.
Yeah,
It's really hard to get this
not wanting to work with us
at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't see on here. Here they go. Here's the comments. Okay. Well, hi everyone. Good evening. Sorry that we are late. We had some technical difficulties. But we are here now to answer any questions that you guys may have. It's under comments, right?
I think so, but I don't
Yeah.
see any comments coming in. I think on my side everything is still kind of frozen. I can hear you good though.
That's good. Hi, Luna. Well, how about we go over what AOS is, so everybody can kind of get an understanding. So, because I've seen a lot of questions that about that. So, is there a big difference on, because I know it has different names, but AOS, residency, and green card, are they essentially all the same thing?
So not always. So adjustment of status is a way for you to get a green card. It's like one of the processes that you can take. There's two main processes, right? Adjustment of status, and then there's consular processing. The difference between the two is where you do your processing, and where you do your potential interview or medical exam. So, with adjustment of status, the great benefit of adjustment of status is that you get to do the entire process within the United States. So, when we use the term AOS, adjustment of status, adjusting, it has to be really understood that it's about that specific process, about doing the whole thing within the United States. Your application, your wait time, your interview, your medical exam, all of that is done within the United States. But I've noticed, is really, really common for people to use the term adjustment or adjustment of status or AOS for any way to get a green card. And I feel like it's better for us to kind of make sure that we're being knowledgeable about the terms, because we can really confuse someone by telling them, oh, you're eligible for you're adjusting status, when really they can only do consular. They can't do adjustment of status.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a difference then. I mean, essentially it's the same thing, but there is a difference in what they all are.
It gets you to the same destination. It's like two different paths to the same destination.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we have one question.
Okay, let's see.
Yay, first question. Pedro Villanueva. Mi DACA se vence I have to click on it, right? Mi DACA se vence en octubre de este año y en marzo voy a mandar mi aplicación para AOS. Should I renew my DACA? Yes. You should renew your DACA until you have your green card.
Yes, we're always going to recommend the same thing on our side from Dreamers Together. Always keep renewing your DACA until you have your green card approved or in hand. And the reason why we say that, guys, is a lot of people get into this thinking of, oh, well, through AOS, I can ask for another work permit and I'll have a work permit, so I don't need my DACA work permit. That's fine. You might not need your DACA work permit, but you have to remember that DACA is not just a work permit. The most important part of DACA is the protection against deportation. And the AOS work permit doesn't give you that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really important for you guys to keep renewing that, because you never know. Worst case scenario, you didn't know that for some reason you're not eligible for adjustment and your adjustment of status is denied. You have DACA to back you up. If you've kept it active the entire time, you have it to back you up. So they can't decide to take or start removal proceedings against you.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, the next one. Oh, give me a minute.
Sure. And thank you guys for all your patience with us, because we're having some technical difficulties. I think I myself am still having some technical issues where I can't really see the video portion of this thing, but I can hear you guys, so I'm going to keep responding, and hopefully Laura will keep being able to read the comments as they come in, since I can't really see them. Let's see. And make sure you guys keep commenting any questions that you have. We'll go through them one by one and answer them for you guys. Bear with me here 1 second. Let's see. All right, I do apologize if I think we may still be having some technical issues. And if we do, we may have to switch over to just a Facebook Live, but just be patient with us, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Let me take these out. Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So we have this question from Luna. When filing for adjustment of status with an approved I-130, what is the filing fee?
So
that would just it would be the 1280. Oh my gosh. 1280, no.
1225.
1225, yes. Because the I-130 is 535.
Yes, you got it. Mm-hmm. Yep, so just 1225. If you're already having an approved I-130, just make sure you guys check that your I-130 is active. If it was sent over to NVC, make sure you log into that CEAC account and check that it's still active. That way you don't have. Okay.
The next one. Mm-mm. Okay. Hello, I have a question regarding my I-64. My husband is a full-time student and works part-time and doesn't make enough to meet the 125 poverty guideline for a household of 2. However, I make well over the poverty guideline. When filling out this form, can I just file the I-64 form with my income without needing another sponsor? That's a very good question.
Mm-hmm. So you can combine your income. That's the, if you are the beneficiary, you can combine your income with your petitioner spouse. And if both of your incomes together, it sounds like maybe just your income on your own is enough. But because you're the beneficiary, you can't file your own 864. Your petitioner still has to file it for you, but they can include your income on the 864. If that makes sense. If you're including your income, you have to make sure to provide proof of your own income. Normally, what we recommend is that if you're not filing jointly, to send in your copy of your tax transcript as well, the most recent one, and then send in at least 6 months of pay stubs, or a W-2. The 6 months of pay stub is best because they want to see current income, or like a wage employment verification letter.
I hope that helps, Nayeli. Okay. Hi, where do I go to apply for advanced parole? Follow our page, Dreamers Together Official on Facebook, and we have guides and everything that you need. All the information that you need is on there.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, Luna. Okay. Angie Rodriguez. Hi, my husband, the petitioner, made 56,684 last year, and I have the 34 credits, and he has 21 credits. Should I do the regular I-864 or combine the credits? I think you could just do the regular I-864 just to save all the trouble, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we've said it several times on the AOS group page, guys, but please, if you take anything from what you read on the page, please understand that if your petitioner makes enough income to meet the federal poverty guidelines, do the regular 864, please. Because not that because you can't do the 864W if you qualify for it, but USCIS officers are not as accustomed to seeing the 864W, especially the combined credits. So you're going to have to kind of give them a very, very, very clear explanation, or they're probably going to shoot it back at you, and then you're going to have to explain again and make it like crystal clear, like you're explaining it to a kindergartner, that you are eligible for it, because they're just not used to seeing people use it. So if you have eligibility, if your petitioner is eligible for the 864, the regular one based on their income, just do that. Save yourself the headache and the trouble and just do the regular 864. All right. Do we have another question there, Laura? I'm relying on you because I can't see them.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yes, she says, do we have to combine incomes if we file jointly?
You don't have to combine income if you file jointly. So if your spouse makes enough income on their own, you're not forced to combine income just because you file jointly. But if your spouse does not make enough income, and you want to combine income, you certainly can. But nobody is forced to combine their income if they don't have to or if they don't need to.
Okay. I'm about to go back to the U.S. tomorrow, crossing with my advanced parole and looking to file my marriage-based AOS. I heard you guys have a guide so that I can apply for myself by myself. Where do I start? Yes, we do have all of the guides and all the information that you need on our AOS page. So our page is AOS Dreamers Together Official. We have guides on there and everything that you need to know where to start. Okay, what happened to Natalie? Telling you guys. Okay. I just got his W-2, so I will change the forms. Yes. Go ahead and just do you're doing just the I-864, correct? Yeah. Yes, go ahead and do that. Follow up on my question. So if he hasn't filed his taxes the past 3 years due to pursuing this bachelor's, do I just put that he wasn't required to file taxes the past 3 years, or will I go based off of my taxes previously filed? You need the last 3 years. So I don't know how that would work, honestly, but you need to have the last 3 years. If he doesn't have the last 3 years, you're a petitioner, and you don't have the credits. I mean the credits to do the I-864W, then you will need to have a co-sponsor. If my petitioner makes above the poverty line, do I have to send any proof of income for myself? No, you do not. All you need is for your petitioner to make enough of the income. Give me a minute. Okay. I'm currently waiting for advance parole receipt in November. Most likely will be approved by March, correct? I put February 23rd for 30 days. December, January, February, March. Yeah, around March, beginning of April, maybe. Sometimes they'll send you an RFE asking you if you still need to travel or if you need new dates. And sometimes they will just send, if they approve you, they'll just send you whatever dates they choose. Hey.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is with the tech.
It is not our night.
I think it's something with their desktop website.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So I just had to join on my phone. I have no other choice.
Okay. So this one says, do I need to send his birth certificate or the naturalization certificate is enough? I think just the naturalization certificate, correct?
Yes. You only need to send, you only need to send one proof of citizenship. And if he has a naturalization certificate, he probably doesn't have a U.S. birth certificate. Mm-hmm. So you're good. You can just send the naturalization certificate.
You need something to prove that he's a U.S. citizen. Okay. This one says, hi, my husband has DACA and we applied for consular processing in 2019 as advance parole was canceled at the time. I went for biometrics related to Form I-601A in May of 2021 and still currently waiting for a waiver to get approved. Wondering if we should switch to AOS, but I would have to do AP first. I believe after you apply for the waiver, don't you still have to wait for the interview? Or is that, I mean, it just depends if you're already waiting for an interview. Because if you're not, you're still going to be waiting a couple more years.
Yeah. And it looks like the 601A waiver hasn't been approved for them either. Mm-hmm. And they submitted it and they went for biometrics in 2021. So it's been at least a year, a little over a year, right?
About to be 2 years.
About to be 2 years. But we've seen people that have been waiting, I don't know, 3+ years, and they're still waiting on that 601A waiver approval. And then once it gets approved, like Laura said, you still have to wait for the actual interview. So it's really up to you if you want to switch over to AOS. You don't really lose out on anything besides maybe like the money you've already spent. But at the very least, you're much safer doing AOS here because you never have to leave the States. Apart from AP, and we all know AP travel is super, super safe.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely, I would say do AOS, do AP, and then do AOS, because you will probably get your green card quicker than you get your interview scheduled. Yeah.
And AP is taking, guys, about 4 to 5 months to be approved, and that's plenty of time for you to prep your AOS packet. Mm-hmm. So while you're waiting for your AP to be approved, start preparing your AOS packet, and then literally the minute you're back, you have your I-94, your proof of entry, you can just submit your AOS.
Yeah, just make that like the last thing that you're missing, slide it in, send it out.
Yeah.
And if you're in California, you'll get approved in 2 months. So
it seems like it. Like everybody in California is getting approved in 2 months.
It's so crazy. I wanna switch I'm gonna say I moved to California. I need to switch my case.
Right.
Okay. My husband didn't work 2020, so he doesn't have any income for that year. I was working and I filed our taxes. What can I send for that year? He worked 2021 and 2022.
So you said file our taxes. Were you guys married and filing taxes together in 2020? Because if you were, it doesn't matter if you didn't have income in 2020. One of the things I really want to highlight during this live is that on the I-864, they're not asking about what you made last year. They're not asking about, when they decide whether it's acceptable, it's not based on what you made previous years. They're going to base it on what you're currently making. And we're in 2023, so current means 2023. So they want to know how much your petitioner is making in 2023. You kind of have to do some quick math and just estimate how much they're going to make for the year this year. Now, you do have to list what their total income was on their taxes the last 3 years. So while they don't base the 864 on what they made those years, they do want to see them. So just, pull up their tax transcript from the IRS. On the second page, there's a line that says total income, and you just have to match whatever is on there. That's what you have to fill out on the 864.
Now, I have a question I'm going to ask you so we can just kind of have it registered. Mm-hmm. So what if my petitioner has never filed taxes? He makes well over the money and all of that, but, he doesn't file taxes because then he has to pay back so much money and it's just so much easier or whatever. For whatever reason, he just doesn't file taxes. What happens there?
If your petitioner is filing an I-864 and they made income, they need to file their taxes. The only people that can get away with not having filed taxes for an I-864 are those who were not required to file taxes. So, for example, their only income was SSI, or their income was low enough where they weren't required to file taxes for that year. They have a valid reason as to why they didn't have to file taxes. And they can explain that in the I-864, the last page where it says additional information. But for everybody who did earn money and make money, you have to file those taxes. So if your petitioner has been earning money and just hasn't been filing for whatever reason, they didn't feel like it, they didn't want to, they didn't want to pay the taxes, then what they can do is reach out to an accountant and a tax preparer and file back taxes, because they won't be able to petition. They won't be able to successfully petition and fill out the 864 without that. So good question, Laura. I like that we put that explanation out there, that clarification.
Yeah, because I've seen that a couple of times too, and it's kind of hard. Like it's very hard. That's very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, guys, one of the things you don't want to mess with in the U.S. is the IRS. Yeah. So don't get yourself in trouble with the IRS. Don't let your spouse get themselves in trouble with the IRS. Those things are better fixed now than to let them snowball into bigger issues later.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. This one. I have a question about Form I-485. Question number 26. Have you ever committed a crime of any kind, even if you were not arrested? I got like 4 traffic tickets. Do I need to select yes or no? You need to select yes. You have to be truthful in all of your answers to your forms. So don't lie. Don't lie. Even if it's embarrassing, you think you're going to get in trouble, you need to tell the truth because they're going to find out either way.
Yes. The good thing is with traffic tickets, if they're under 500, you don't need to, send in any documentation. You just kind of need to explain them away to them. And as long as they were under 500 and didn't have anything to do with alcohol or drugs, like you weren't driving under the influence, and you didn't get a ticket for like causing somebody bodily harm. Like if you were to hurt someone when you were driving, like you hit them or something. As long as your traffic violation or ticket doesn't fall into those categories and it's under 500, just a brief explanation on the last page of the form is sufficient. If you look up traffic ticket or ticket on our group, you'll find several posts where we have put examples of how you can explain them on that last page. So just, search those keywords in the group and you'll be able to see a whole bunch of examples.
Okay.
Oh, your audio cut off for me there, Laura.
No, I had it on mute. I was talking to my husband. Okay, Nayeli, do we have an expected time frame of when they will possibly update the SSA income to reflect 10 years? I'd rather send the I-864W. However, I don't want to risk waiting too long and they implement the new rates to file LS. So you're talking about when they're going to put the 2022
The earning statements, right?
statements, like,
Yeah. There really isn't. Usually they do them, they update them sometime in the beginning of the year. February, March. There really isn't a time frame. It's different, especially now with government agencies kind of trying to get back into the normal after the pandemic. I really can't tell you for sure that it's going to be like they normally do in February or March, but I will say one thing. Again, if you are eligible to do the 864, just do the 864. But if you're not, and your only method is the credits with the 864W, if you have, if the only year you're missing is 2022, and you've already received your W-2 from 2022, check box 3 of your W-2. If that number is over 6,040, you can try to send your earnings statement with your W-2 from 2022 attached to it, and just a brief explanation saying, Social Security Administration has not yet updated my earnings statement to reflect my 2022 wages. Please see attached W-2 for 2022. And that shows that I have earned the 4 credits for that year. So you can try that if you have your 2022 W-2.
And I know that a lot of people are waiting to make sure that they have the 10 years on there, but make sure that every single year you reported at least $6,040. You have to have reported or have worked that what am I trying to say? You need to have had income like that you worked for.
Yeah.
On each one.
If prior years, guys, is under 6,040, like especially back in 2012, 2013, that doesn't mean you're completely disqualified. It just means we need to break it down a little further. So if you don't have over 6,000 on all prior years, please, let us know. We're more than happy to look it over with you and let you know how much the income is supposed to, because the income is different for each year. But just for purposes of trying to keep it simple for you guys, if it's all over 6,000, you're good. If you have any year that's under 6,000, reach out to us. You can post the table or let us know which year is the lowest one, and we can tell you how much is the amount for that specific year.
Yeah. So there could be a possibility that there could be some kind of leeway, but you just want to make sure first. But for sure, if you do have more than the 6,000, then you should be fine.
Yeah, then you're good. The 10 years, 6,000 on each year.
And if you don't have that, then you don't qualify for the I-864W. Or if you don't have 40 credits, you do not qualify for the I-864W. You can get combined credits. That is possible, right, Natalie? Because
yes.
You can combine credits, but they can only be from your spouse, from your petitioning spouse, but they have to be credits that they worked for, credits as well.
Yes.
And it can only be credits that they received while you guys were married.
Yes. So just to clarify, guys, it has to be credits during your marriage, right? Has to be credits that they earned because they were working. And then the third part that's lesser known is any credits that they earned, even if they were working, but at the same time they were receiving some type of public benefit, some type of welfare program, public benefit like SNAP, food stamps, EBT, Medicaid. That year is disqualified. So you can't borrow credits from that year. So if you do have a situation where you need to borrow credits from your spouse, the best way is don't try to make that determination on your own. Reach out to us, post it on the page, let us know all the, details, which year, when you were married, post both of your guys' earning statements. And then we'll ask you, hey, you can borrow from these years, but talk to your spouse, make sure they didn't receive any public benefits during those years. And then my last little suggestion would be, just because I've noticed that USCIS, or at least the pre-screening officers, they're just not knowledgeable. They're not accustomed to seeing people borrow credits for this 864 exemption. I will say, if it was me in my situation and I had to borrow credits, not only would I submit all the documentation to prove it, I would actually submit a small statement showing how I'm eligible to borrow my spouse's credits and how they add up to over 40, just so that you don't risk an RFE.
Mm-hmm. And there was another question I was going to ask you about that. So like, let's say also we claimed disability, or like short-term disability, or long-term disability. We had to have a surgery, so we were working and we were getting paid that. Does that also count against it? Are they still not able to use that year if for some reason like the petitioner was on short-term disability or anything
I
like
think
that?
if it was private disability, it shouldn't have anything to do with it. But if they were on private disability, they may not have made the wages to be able to earn those credits. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think usually private disability, like a disability insurance that they pay privately and that they had to use, that shouldn't disqualify them from it, because it's specifically means tested public benefits that disqualify them.
Okay, so like getting like Social Security, like from the government, basically.
Yeah. So
Okay.
disability from the government is going to disqualify them.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I've been waiting for my advanced parole since August. Do I need to reapply? Lucia, do you know what field office it went to? I think we could get a little bit more information. It's still pretty soon, but it is. If it depends on where it went to. You should definitely reach out to USCIS and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Angie, she replied to one of our questions. I don't remember which one it was.
We've been filing marriage since.
That he didn't have any income for the 2020. So that she was working and I file our taxes. What can I send for that year? He worked on 2021, 2022.
Oh, no, then she's good. Yeah, you're good, Angie. Just put in, when you're filing jointly with your spouse, you don't have to, when on that section of the 864 where they ask you to list the 3 years and then the total income for those 3 years, don't get too much in your heads, guys. You're not supposed to try to like separate your income from their income and calculate how much is yours and how much is theirs. You literally, and I'm telling you, like word for word, literally pull your IRS tax transcript. If you file jointly, it'll be both of yours. Look on the second page and look at that line that says total income. That's the number you have to plug in there. Doesn't matter if it sounds off, if it's only your income, only his income, it doesn't matter. They just need it to match. That's all they're looking for, is a match.
There you go. Hope that helps you guys. Let's see. I sent my DACA renewal 2 weeks ago. How long is approval timeline? Approval timeline for DACA that I've seen is 4 to 8 months. I don't think anybody's really taking the whole 8 months, but it's 4 to 8 months. So you still got a good while to go.
Yes.
And guys, please make sure that you guys are renewing your DACA within 4 to 5 months before it expires.
Yes.
You cannot expedite that, so just try to renew it on time, which is 4 or 5 months before it expires.
Yes, guys, please don't get confident. Like, don't get false confidence from seeing other people's timelines that are really, really quick. It's not worth losing the DACA or having it lapse for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. Always send it, like Laura said, between 4 to 5 months, 120 to 150 days. My preference, send it 150 days. There's no reason why you should keep waiting. Just send it in.
Yeah.
And if it's financial reasons, the reason you're not sending your DACA renewal, reach out to Mission Asset Fund, MAF. They have help. Like, they have fee assistance if that's the issue, if you just don't have the funds to be able to pay for your renewal. That should never be a reason as to why you don't renew.
But also reach out ahead of time.
Yes.
With time, please. Don't, people are losing their jobs and, wanting to expedite, like, you can't. I mean, I think they make exceptions for like healthcare workers, but even at that, like,
it's hard.
It's a hassle.
Yeah. I think with DACA, like, you can get it expedited, not when it benefits you, but when it benefits them. Mm-hmm. Like, when it's a huge benefit to the US government or to the public, they may expedite your case, but everyone else, you're not going to get expedited. there's like a really hard rule on them, especially if you didn't renew in time. If you didn't renew between that time frame, they're not even going to look at it.
Mm-hmm. You just got to wait your turn.
You're
Okay, for those looking for a reason to apply for advanced parole, my husband was approved for advanced parole last year because I was going to get surgery in Mexico. I was only a permanent resident at the time. We only sent proof of marriage and doctor's letter, so have your spouse get something done in Mexico. So, okay.
that works.
If it worked. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just also luck.
I mean, I could kind of get it, right? Like if your spouse is getting a procedure done and they need somebody to like help them recover the first or second day after the procedure.
Medical, not, my wife's gonna go get a BBL.
Yes, please make sure that is like an actual medical procedure that they need.
Okay. What do I have to include in the AOS package? Sorry, I'm just learning about this. A lot of applications and a lot of evidence. I think I had a little list. Well, the applications for sure are the I-130, which is the application for alien relative.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your spouse, you would also have to include the I-130, the supplemental, and it's very much the same information. You just got to do it all over again in that other page. And then the I-864, which is the one for the income that your petitioner will fill out. We recommend that you also send the I-765, which is the one for your employment document, because it is under a new category, not DACA. And then the I-131, which is the travel document, then those are just recommended. You don't have to send them if you don't plan to leave until you have your residency. That's fine. You don't have to send them. We do just recommend sending those as well because sometimes it prompts USCIS to send you a combo card, which is basically a combination of both applications in one card, where you can use for work authorization and you can also use for travel. We still do recommend for you to keep filing your DACA though, because like Natalie said earlier, that's the only thing that what is it called? Helps you from deportation or keeps you.
That protects you from deportation.
Yes, that protects you from deportation. So even if you do get a combo card, or if you get a work document through AOS, still keep renewing your DACA. And then another one that we recommend that you send is the I-693, which is your medicals. And that has to be done by a USCIS accredited civil surgeon. And what else?
The 485.
And the I-485, the most important one.
The actual adjustment of status.
The actual adjustment of status. Oh man. Yes, and that one is like 20 pages.
Because if you leave out that one, guys, nothing's happening.
I'll be like, what is this? What do you want? So yes, and those are all the forms that you need to send. And each form, Natalie made a really nice cover letter that we uploaded onto the AOS page, and it basically tells you all of the evidence that you need to send behind each application. And it's very, very, you made it very simple to where it's just, what they need, get to the point, here it is, no extra, not too much, just enough. So I feel like we're not going to have any more of those thick little packets anymore. Mine was very thick.
That's my method when it comes to AOS packets. Is like, send them what they ask for and whatever meets their requirements. And then nothing really extra than that. Like if you don't need to send 3 documents to prove somebody's citizenship. Just send the one. Because think about it, you're sending this, it's not like it's going to a computer to be processed. It's going to end up on somebody's desk. So it's a human being that's processing these applications. The more paperwork you give them, the more paperwork they're going to have to go through and review. So you can imagine that somebody's case that's maybe like 5 inches thick, 4 inches thick, is going to take longer for them to review than somebody who just sent the necessary documents. So like sometimes I'll see people, and for you guys that have done the AOS reviews with me, I'm sure you can attest to it. And I will go through and I'll tell you on your cover letter, you don't need to send this. You don't need to send this. You don't need to send this. You don't need to send the person's social security number, like their card. You don't need to send your DACA permit. You don't need to send your copy of your AP document if you have your I-94. You don't need to send your DACA notice of approval, like the letter. You don't need, none of that you need to send. Like I said, if you have the person's naturalization certificate, you don't need to send the passport. Just choose one of the possible combinations for proof of citizenship. So there's a lot of trimming down that a lot of you guys can do on your AOS packets, and it'll just make it easier for them to review it.
Yeah, and like I said, guys, everything is under files and guides on the AOS page.
Yes.
That's where you can download the cover letter. It's on Word, so you can just download it and edit it to your name, your address, the date that you send it, everything.
Yes, please don't keep fulano and fulanita on there.
That would be an RFE for sure. Hi, I'm currently looking at getting the medical checkup with a USCIS civil surgeon. Is there an expiration date on that sealed envelope? I'm still working on my AOS packet. I think it's 60 days from the day that they sign it. You have 60 days or less to send it. Yes. So you have to send it within 60 days. And then after that, I believe it's like 2 years.
Yeah, you got it right. I normally tell people, if you're still working on your AOS packet, don't get your medical. Leave it as the last thing that you have to do. Literally get everything done to the point where all you need to do is get your medical done. And then as soon as you have the sealed, records, a sealed document, just slip it into the packet and you're good. Yeah. I did it with my parents, done it with other family members and friends, always leave the medical for last.
And please send it. Please send it.
Yes.
Please send it.
And on the topic of the medical, when you guys go to your medical, please, I beg you guys, ask for a copy before they seal the document. Ask for a copy, and then once you have your copy, don't leave the office. Sit right in their little waiting room, flip through your copy, and double check, especially the vaccine portion of your medical, double check that they didn't make any typos or errors. I have done, in the past 2 weeks, I have found 3 people that have done their AOS reviews that have had errors on their medical by the civil surgeon. Thankfully, we caught it. I told them what needs to be corrected, what was marked wrong. They were able to call their civil surgeon and let them know, hey, this is wrong on my copy. Can you guys please fix this and give me a new sealed document so I can send it in? And by doing that, they save themselves the time and delay of an RFE. So please, please, please ask for copies of your medical, your I-693, check it in the office, and don't leave until you're sure that medical was completed correctly. You have your vaccine records, so you can look at them and make sure that everything on there is correct.
There you go. ¿Cuándo se reflejará los créditos del 2022? Tengo 36 y si mis cuentas no me fallan, con eso ya completo los 40. No sabemos cuándo vayan a aparecer los créditos de 2022. Como dijo Nathaly también hace ratito, que a veces los ponen como al principio del año, so es solamente esperar, pero no sabemos cuándo los pondrían. Y si tienes tus 40, nomás asegúrate que también tienes los 10 años completos y que cada año también ganaste más de $6,000. También si tienes un año de los primeros, como en 2013, 2014, que no reportaste 6,000 o más, puedes comunicarte con nosotros para ver si hay alguna manera de poder ayudarte en que puedas todavía mandar nada más el I-864W con tus 40 créditos.
Correcto.
Sí. Mandé expedite de mi combo card, pero solo hice la forma I-131. Todavía no me han mandado nada. Me pidieron evidencia, ya la mandé por el fax el lunes. Tengo que hacer la otra forma también. La mera verdad, yo hice las dos, no sé cuál es la que funcionó. No podía decirle bien, porque yo mandé las dos. Cuando me mandaron me pidieron evidencia, me lo hicieron por los dos. Y yo nomás lo mandé por el I-765 y es como me aprobaron. pero la verdad no sabría decirle por cuál es la que le darían la combo card. Do you happen to know?
No, tampoco sé. Hola, Carol. Carol was one of my AOS reviews, and she's great. Pero no, Carol, honestamente, si tienes razón por cuál pedir el expedite de las 765, yo lo haría también. No pierdes nada a intentar. Sí, tomen en cuenta y tengan paciencia, ¿verdad? Porque USCIS es una agencia de gobierno, entonces no hacen nada rápido, a lo menos que estás en California. So, si pides un expedite, lo más probable es que se vayan a demorar entre 2 semanas, un mes para responder. Pero no pierdes nada en pedirlo, lo puedes pedir y ver lo que te dicen, pero en general puedes pedir por los dos y ver si te sale la combo card. Acuérdense de que realmente no hay nada que se pueda hacer para garantizar o incrementar la probabilidad de que le den una combo card. Es solamente decisión del officer que está adjudicando su caso. So, si ellos están viendo de que las dos cosas, que no hay razón por cuál no aprobar las dos cosas y las van a aprobar alrededor de del mismo tiempo, probablemente le den una combo card. Pero de todos modos, si no le dan una combo card y le aprueban los dos documentos separados, es la misma cosa, solo es que tiene dos documentos separados. Le darían el permiso de trabajo y luego le darían el AP, que también duraría 1 año y es múltiple entradas y se puede usar para los países que usted quisiera visitar.
Y cuando hacen la expedite para el I-131 y el 765, les van a decir por las mismas razones. So, si haces también el 765, puedes mandar la misma carta que mandaste por el 131, porque les piden las mismas, te dan las mismas razones para hacer expedite, para humanitario, para de dinero, o financiero, disculpa. So, es lo mismo, puedes mandar las mismas, ¿cómo se dice? Las mismas pruebas.
Sí, una recomendación que yo le he hecho a algunos del grupo es que antes de que se pongan a comunicarse con Emma para pedir el expedite, tengan si lo van a hacer, digamos, en su computadora, en su laptop, abran un notepad o un Word document y escriban de una vez un buen parágrafo con su razón por cuál quiere expedite. So, por ejemplo, si la razón que quiere expedite es porque no sé, tiene un familiar enfermo en su país, escriba un parágrafo cortito. Tengo un familiar enfermo, tengo a mi abuela enferma en tal lugar, ella tiene esto y esto, no la ha visto en tanto tiempo, está muy mal, la quisiera visitar, no sé si las cosas se van a empeorar. Escriba eso, un pequeño parágrafo, a lo mejor 2 o 3 sentences, hágale el copy, copiéenlo y ténganlo listo para paste. Entonces, cuando le pidan la razón por cuál usted necesita expedite, no tiene que estar tipeando la respuesta, simplemente le pone paste y lo envía. Okay.
There we go. When crossing with advanced parole, do you get a 994? You're supposed to.
Yeah.
But we don't always.
If you cross through land, you're supposed to get a 994. But again, we're dealing with government agencies, and I think we all know that CBP is not consistent. But here's my take on things. If you're crossing through land and you notice that they're not giving you a 994, you don't lose anything in asking. Hey, just out of curiosity, are you guys able to give me an I-94 document? And they say, oh, yeah, it's just, the line's long. And just be like, I'm okay with waiting. I would just rather have one just in case, right? At the end of the day, they're humans, guys. Just treat them respectfully, politely ask for things. If they don't want to give you a 994, then say, okay, well, if you don't have the document, you don't have the card, could you guys at least stamp my passport? Either of those two things are acceptable proofs of legal entry. Either the stamp on the passport, the stamp on your AP paper, or the I-94. Get one of those, please. And if you're flying, guys, for my people that are going to be flying with AP, I strongly suggest that you make sure that they stamp something. Either they stamp your passport or they stamp your AP document and you get to keep a copy of it, because we've had so many people that have gone on the I-94 website and can't pull their I-94. either because there's a typo in their name. And of course, you can't know if they submitted your name with a typo in it or a typo in your passport number. There's no way for you to know that. So always, if you're flying through air, ask for the stamp, whether it be on your passport or your AP document. And if you're coming through land, just ask for the I-94. And if they don't have it, then ask for the stamp. Try to get something.
Because also it does not always show up on the I-94 website, because you can also pull it from online, but it does not always show up, and you just want to have something. So
yes, better to have something. Although there is a process in place. If your I-94 is not showing up on the website, there's a process in place. We've posted it several times on both the AOS group and the AP group. Look for it, guys. Missing I-94, you'll see my post on there with the steps that you can take. But you can avoid that whole headache if you just make sure you get something stamped on your way in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. You're welcome. Jennifer said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Nada.
Let's see. Is advanced parole used for emergency only, or can we use it for normal visits? It does have to be some sort of urgent reason. So it has to be an urgent humanitarian reason, work related, education related, dental, or anything medical. So you can't just say, I want to go to my cousin's wedding. That's not going to be, you won't get approved for that. So in a sense, it does have to be an emergency. Nayeli, thank you for asking that follow-up question. My husband didn't make enough to even file because he was only working part-time and a full-time student. So I will make sure to give the explanation right on the last page. Thanks.
Perfect. There you go.
For my birth certificate, I found the English translation on the DACA group. Can I use that one to send with my AOS package or get a different one? I think if it's already been translated and they have to just be certified, right? They don't have to be notarized?
No, they don't have to be notarized. So yeah. I'm not sure if you mean like you already got it translated once through the AP group, or you're saying that on the DACA group, you found like a template for your translation. If you found a template that matches how your birth certificate is structured or formatted, you can translate it yourself and then just add on at the very bottom, you can add a certifying statement and sign it. If it doesn't fit on the bottom, then you can make a second page with a certifying statement, sign it, and just send it with it. You have to send the original, the translation, and the certifying statement. They do have to be certified though. And you can certify your own document. And certifying it is not something complicated. It's not like you have to seal it or anything. It's literally just a statement, something along the lines of like, I am competent and knowledgeable in both English and Spanish in order to have made this translation. And to the best of my abilities, this is a true and accurate translation of the original source document. And then you put your name, you sign it, and you date it. And that's enough.
Mm-hmm. There you go. If my husband is the petitioner and made around $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and it's only him and me, no kids, can I use form I-864 Easy instead of the regular I-864? There's still more criteria to meet for that, I think. So yes. The income part looks good.
Yes, income looks good. The fact that you don't need a joint sponsor is one of the requirements. The fact that he's only sponsoring one person, which would be you, is one of the requirements. And then the very last requirement is that every single dollar of his income has to have been from a W-2. So it can only be income earned on a W-2. If all of his income was earned on a W-2 and can be reported on a W-2, like right now is a perfect time because you can look at his 2022 W-2 and make sure that that's the only income you guys have or that he had, then you can file 864 easy.
There you go. Let's see. When my husband crossed back to the USA with advanced parole, they gave him a little card with a stamp and the date that he crossed, which was February 1st. But when I check his I-94 online, the date it shows is February 2nd. Which date should we use when filing? you have to use the date of the date that he crossed, because
Yeah.
it probably says that he was paroled until February 2nd.
Yeah.
Because there's a date a date of entry, and then parole, or until, it says until. That's probably what the February 2nd is.
Yeah, if you're looking on the online I-94, if the February 2nd date is the date that comes right after where it says admit until date, then that's just the date that he was paroled until. But you never know. CBP makes typos all the time. So I wouldn't doubt if that's a possibility. But just go with whatever date he actually came in. If I'm sure if you needed to, you probably have some type of document, either a flight document, like a ticket, or you have, if you came in through like CBX, you would have like I think CBX also charges you like a ticket or something to use, right? But just use the date that he actually came in. But double check that I-94. Make sure you're not looking at the admit until date.
Yeah, because it has to have two. It does have two dates, but it tells you what they're for. So yeah, just take a double look. If anything, you can make a post, and we can help you.
Yep.
Okay. ¿Qué pasa si me casé en el 2021 y no hice taxas con mi esposo hasta esta vez para 2022? Lo hicimos juntos. No creo que importa eso de los hicieron juntos o no. Muchas veces la razón por la que usamos las taxas también juntos es porque eso es una prueba de su noviazgo grande. De tu matrimonio, disculpa. Eso es una prueba de que su matrimonio es real. Es una prueba muy grande. Sí. Por eso es lo que ayuda. Pero pues también cuando van a hacer las taxas, si él es el que va a ser el patrocinador, pues sus taxas de él son las que más va a necesitar para el I-864, para la, oh my gosh, para la petición.
Para ser honestos, significa de que el IOS va a ser declinado porque un año no hicieron taxes juntos. No. Sea posible que si es que le dan una entrevista le van a preguntar por qué lo hicieron separados. Sí, es posible. Mientras ustedes tengan una razón, no hay problema, ¿verdad? Si, por ejemplo, su preparador de taxes le recomendó que lo hicieran separados por X razón, o van a tener que pagar menos taxes si lo hacen separado porque uno tiene negocio, el otro no, lo que sea. Si lo hicieron por esa razón, no hay problema. Le dan a usted la explicación si es que se lo preguntan. Lo más probable es que ahorita están waiving la mayoría de las entrevistas. Es posible que ni te vayan a preguntar. Lo importante que es que él haga los taxes. Si es que tuvo ingreso, que hizo los taxes. Y si usted no hizo los taxes juntos, solo significa que no lo puede usar como comprobante que su matrimonio es en buena fe, pero puede enviar otros tipos de documentos para demostrar eso.
Sí, esa es la mayor razón por la que usa mucho eso la gente, de hacerlo juntos. Pero no contraría contra usted. Yeah. After you come in with advanced parole, what do you put in your DACA renewal as your last entry?
Your AP. Your AP return.
Yeah, whatever is on your I-94.
Yeah. And your class of admission, guys, on your DACA renewal, when it asks how you were admitted, you would put DA advanced parole. That's how you were admitted last.
My DACA expires August 2023. Should I renew it soon, or should I just send my AOS even though I'm still pending my advanced parole approval? I know it's recommended to keep renewing DACA, just worried about the money. So you cannot do AOS if you don't have a legal entry. So if you're still waiting for an approval for advanced parole to get a legal entry, you're going to have to wait until after you come back with your advanced parole to do AOS, because you can't do AOS without a legal entry.
Yeah, one of the requirements for AOS is that legal entry.
Unless you already have one, but if you don't, then you have to wait until after you come back.
Yeah. So, and you said your DACA expires in August 2023. So ideally, you're going to be renewing it in March, no later than April. March, no later than April. Okay. if it's financial reasons, guys, please don't ever let financial reasons be the reason why you don't file anything. DACA, AOS, whatever it may be. Mission Ascent Fund is a great organization that literally all they focus on is helping the immigrant community be able to pay for their immigration applications. They have a fee assistance for DACA where they give you half the money and they lend you the other half. So you only pay half of the DACA renewal fee and they break it down into payments and they don't charge you interest. It's an interest-free loan. They do the same thing for AOS, guys. If you are holding out on sending your AOS because you're having issues with getting the funds together, go to math, fill out an application. Those are not grants, those are loans, but they break it down into 10 payments usually, and again, is interest-free. So you're going to be able to send your AOS now and not have to wait until you've been able to save up for it.
So I think in this case, wait for your AP approval and send your DACA renewal. And then after that,
worry about AOS.
Worry about the AOS.
Yeah.
Okay. I read a comment about the vaccination that left a scar on your arm, the most common one in Mexico. Is there an issue with having 2 scars with your medical exam? Do you have to do extra? I cannot remember the type of vaccine. They didn't even ask me. Mine didn't even check me when I did my medical exam, so I don't think so.
I can give a little more information on this one. So the vaccine that a lot of us have from our home countries, especially in Latin America, that leaves a scar on your arm is the TB vaccine. It's a vaccine for tuberculosis. They don't give that here in the States. So that TB vaccine, the reason why people mention it is because back in the day, when you had to get your TB test done for your medical exam, it was a skin test. It was this thing where they would like inject this fluid under your skin and you would have to leave and then come back in a week and they would see how your skin reacted to that fluid that they injected to see if you had tuberculosis.
That's
so
scary.
For those of us, it sounds scary. I had to get it done when I was in high school. It sounds scary, but it's not. It's literally a little skin test. But for those of us who have the TB vaccine, the skin test will sometimes show positive. And then what they used to do is after your skin showed positive, they would make you go do an x-ray. You'd have to show your x-ray to see if you actually have tuberculosis or not. And even if you didn't have it, sometimes they would make you take like 6 months of antibiotics just in case, because they're like super scared of tuberculosis in the US. That's not an issue anymore. The reason is they've come out with this new tuberculosis test. It's the gold standard of tuberculosis testing. It's called a quantiferon. And that is pretty much the only tuberculosis test that USCIS now allows. And that specific tuberculosis test does not shoot a positive just because you've had that vaccine in the past. So don't worry about it coming up as positive because you had the vaccine. Frankly, if it comes off positive, it's either a statistical false positive or you may actually have latent tuberculosis, which is still okay. There's still a way to get the medical exam done, even with a positive TB test. It all depends on your x-ray. But that's the whole issue with the scar on the arm and the tuberculosis test. It's not an issue anymore. The new test doesn't get triggered by that vaccine on your arm. And they definitely don't check your arm when it comes to like the medical exam itself.
So how would they know if you have tuberculosis?
They do that quantiferon test. It's like a blood test.
Oh, so they just do they just draw blood.
Yeah, now they just draw blood. Before it used to be that skin test. Now they just make you go to the lab and get some blood drawn and then they test it that way.
Yeah, because I had to do I think 5 or 6 tubes of blood.
That's a lot. Yeah. The only blood test is there's only 2. One of the syphilis and the gonorrhea, one of them is blood and the other one is urine, and then TB is the other blood one. So there's really only 3 lab tests that they should be running on you guys.
No, I think they did 5 on me.
I've noticed some civil surgeons go past what they're supposed to do. They have technical they have a handbook, guys. They have a handbook called civil surgeon's technical instructions. You guys can look it up online and see what it is that they're supposed to be doing to you and what they're supposed to be checking. And they're only supposed to check those 3 things, but some of them go above and beyond and start checking stuff that they have no business checking. So.
Okay, Angelica. Hi, does receiving Medicaid still fall under public charge rule? Is it for you or no, right?
It doesn't matter. Okay. Medicaid no longer is considered for public charge determinations. They've actually, like, if you go into the AOS group and you look up the word public charge, you'll see a post that we made. We pinned it to the top, or we put it in the featured section. And in the comments, like the very first comment has a list of benefits, a list of aids that public aids that USCIS has specifically stated they will not count, and Medicaid is one of them. The only medical type of help or assistance that you can get that USCIS is going to take into account is if you are in long-term institutionalization. So that would be like you're in a nursing home or facility, you're in a mental health facility, you're in a like long-term rehab facility, and that long-term institutionalization is being paid for by the government. So if you're in that circumstance, then yes, you could be a public charge. But just straight up Medicaid, whether it's for you or whether it's for a household member or your kids, it's not considered a public charge. Either way, though, we're DACA recipients, so we don't qualify for like federal Medicaid. I know there's some states like California that have like I think CalMed or something like that that we, DACA recipients and undocumented individuals can apply for, but that doesn't count towards the public charge rule. So you're good.
Okay, we get it. California's the best.
Right?
All right. Jasmine, do you guys have a one-on-one appointment to help with your AOS package like they do with AP? No, we don't have that, but what we do have is AOS review with Nathaly. But you need to send her your complete package, and she basically goes over it with you. You have to already have filled it out. We cannot fill it out for you. We cannot tell you what to put. So she basically just goes over it with you. She can give you more information.
Yeah. If I can, if any of my past if any of my past AOS packet reviewees are on the live or see this later, if you guys can do me a huge favor and maybe reply here to Jasmine or post in the live your experience with the AOS reviews, honest experience. I don't need you to boost up my confidence, just an honest experience of what, how it went, how you felt, whether it was helpful for you. That way, Jasmine can get an idea of how that goes and what was your honest experience with it. And maybe a couple other group members can see if that's something that would benefit them. It's not something that we push, guys. We give you all of the free resources to do this on your own completely without having to pay anybody anything. We tell you guys all the time, feel free to post all of your questions in the group page. We will answer them one by one. Just be patient with us because we're volunteers. But if you feel more confident having someone else give it another look, have, I do very in-depth AOS reviews. If anybody here can attest to that, hopefully they'll say something in the comments, but I do go one by one. Like I literally will go through your cover letter with you, item by item, tell you what should be taken off, tell you what maybe you're missing and you should include. I go through your form with you one by one just to make sure you're not missing anything, like you haven't missed any questions or anything like that. And then I go through your supporting documents with you as well. And if you have any questions along the way, I'm more than happy to answer them. It's a very hands-on, it is one-on-one attention during the AOS review. Like there's no one else. It's not like a group AOS review, but it's in a review. So it does have to be a completed package that you sent in for us to review together.
There you go. Freddie said, are you guys answering PIP questions?
Yes, shoot them at us.
I have some knowledge. My brother did that for my parents.
For those watching, what PIP is parole in place. It's only for individuals who are immediate relatives of a military member, active duty or veteran military member. And it allows them to get a legal entry without having to do AP. That's kind of like the summary of it. For those of us who are maybe looking at this and saying, what the heck is PIP?
Parole in place. You get paroled in place here where you are.
Yes.
Okay. ¿Recomiendan hacer advance parole y AOS with a lawyer, or can I do it by myself? You can do it by yourself. We all did it by ourselves. But ultimately, it is your preference. A lot of people don't feel comfortable filling out their own forms with their own information. So if you want to get a lawyer, you definitely can. We can't recommend anybody except for any lawyers that are affiliated with Dreamers Together. And Charles Cook is the one that helps us a lot.
Yes.
So
there's a few. If you guys look, there's William McLean, I believe, Gloria Cardenas, Charles Cook, Katie. I forget her last name.
It's Traversy.
Yes. Traversy. Yeah. There's, I think, Abogada Raquel.
Yes, Abogada Raquel also has done lives with us.
Yes.
So has Gloria. So yeah, I mean, they're all very invested in Dreamers Together with us. So those are the only ones that we can actually recommend.
Yes. Very competent, very experienced. You can reach out to any of them if you feel more comfortable doing with a lawyer. We'll never look down on anybody that chooses to do it with a lawyer. Especially if you choose one of these vetted lawyers, because when we know you're going to be well taken care of. If you don't use one of the vetted lawyers, the only thing we can advise is, hold them accountable. Make sure you're very hands-on with your application. Ask them for copies of everything that they're filing. You have a right to copies of your files. Make sure that you're an active participant in your AOS packet. The worst thing you can do is have a lawyer do something for you, and then they give you no information and you have no idea what they're sending and what they're not sending. But I will say, if you have a very straightforward case, you have a legal entry, you don't have like a major criminal record, you don't have multiple entries into the US, or you didn't leave after being here for a while and then try to re-enter, you don't have a pending or finalized deportation or removal proceeding, nothing along those lines, it's a pretty straightforward case. And you can have the ability to do it on your own. There's thousands of us that have done it on our own. And the whole point of our group is to empower you guys to be knowledgeable about your own cases, and feel confident and empowered to file them on your own if you feel, if you have one of those cases. Let us know. We'll be the first ones to tell you, hey, you have a bit of a complicated case because of this reason. Reach out to one of our lawyers for a consult, and they'll set you right. But if you don't have anything, big like that in your history, no criminal history, no deportations, removal proceedings, nothing out of the norm, go ahead and try it. Look at the guides, read our files, and read the experiences of people that have done it. If you have questions, put the keywords of your questions in our search bar, and you'll find, I would say 99% of the time, you're going to find the information in the group page already.
Or someone that had a similar case and we already resolved the issue. Yep. So that you can go from there. That's actually how I did my AOS on that page. I was searching everything. What is this? Okay, how do they do this? Learning from there. And so that's the best way to do it. But, if like we said, if you prefer to have help, definitely go for it. We have some pretty good lawyers on our team.
Yes.
Okay. Arturo, hello. I'm going to get married with my girlfriend this year. She just got back with her legal entry with advanced parole. Do we need to wait until next year so they can see if we file our taxes together? No, you don't have to wait, actually.
Never wait.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, we basically advise about the files your taxes together because that's like a big proof of a bona fide marriage. But if you guys have been together for, a long time or for a while, and you guys have proof, you have, anything else together, house, apartment, anything, then that should be enough proof. Like, you don't have to do the taxes together.
Yeah, you don't have to wait till you're filing taxes together, especially if you got married this year. It's impossible for you to have your taxes joint if you just got married this year. So they're not going to expect you to turn in joint returns. The biggest thing that USCIS looks for, and this is for anybody watching the live, when it comes to bona fide marriage, commingling of finances. That is really, really heavily weighted. That's more heavily weighted than pictures that you can send. The only thing more heavily weighted than commingling of finances is if you guys had kids together. So commingling of finances, it doesn't mean necessarily that all of your bills have to show both of your names. It just has to show that you guys are sharing expenses in your household. So what I try to tell people all the time is, if you pay for Netflix and they pay for the internet bill, you pay the electricity, they pay for, I don't know, the Sam's Club membership, that's fine. All of you guys have separate bills, but they're all billed to the same address. That is commingling of finances, and that is shared household expenses. If you have a bank account that's joint, great. If you don't have one that's joint, but you can see that each person is paying their bills through that account, that's fine too. Zelle, like if you can see in your bank history that you're zelling each other money, that's another commingling of funds. So there's lots of ways to prove bona fide marriage. You just have to kind of think outside of that box that we have like put ourselves in, where we think that the only way to do it is to have joint tax returns, and the only way to do it is to have bills in both your names. They don't have to both be in your names. They just have to be, shared expenses.
Yep. All right, next one. For military parole employees, do the last entry affidavits need to be notarized?
No.
Nope.
They do not. It's just a genuine, honest statement of your last entry, and it doesn't have to be super intricate or lengthy. You just have to explain to them how you came in, when you came in, and where you came in. And that's it. The only advice I do give for any of my people that are ever in a situation where they're being asked how they last entered, if you entered with your parents, avoid giving that information. If you entered illegally with your parents, avoid stating that you entered with your parents. Leave it vague. I came into the US this date on this date through Texas, or whatever. Okay. Or I came with relatives or whatever. If you have to say who you came in with, you can just say, I came with relatives. I came with, a relative. I'm not too sure. I don't remember. I was young. Do not state specifically that your parents crossed over the border with you. And I'll explain why. You may not know that you're doing this, but the minute that you put that and you disclose that information, USCIS considers your parent as a smuggler, as an alien smuggler. Even though it was their own son or daughter that they brought over, they're still considered smuggling an alien. So if you, for example, get your residency and then your citizenship and you want to petition for your parents and you're going to ask for a perdón for them or whatever avenue comes up in the future, they would be declined because of that child smuggling. So that's the only thing that I can say is when you're doing your last, when you're doing your statements of last entry, don't mention that your parents crossed over with you if they did. Okay?
Go. Angie, for the tax form, is it the return transcript?
Yes.
Yes.
That is the one you need to send.
Yesenia, my mom got back with advanced parole 2 weeks ago. I turned 21 April 3rd. How soon can she begin the process of AOS on April 3rd?
She can begin to put it together now, and she can literally get everything ready and settled. Maybe 2 weeks before you turn 21, she can get her medical exam done, get everything packaged up and ready to go, where all you have to do is April 3rd, you sign everything, you date everything, and you drop it in the postal mail, in the postal office. So the minute that you are 21, you are eligible to file for your mom. You don't have to wait a certain amount of time.
And we just had someone that got approved through their U.S. citizen child, and it took 9 months. So it's pretty fast.
Yeah, there's no bona fide relationship that you have to prove there. A birth certificate is good enough. Well, I'm going to walk that back a little bit. If you're petitioning for your father and you were born out of wedlock, then a birth certificate is not enough. You have to send a little extra. But if you were born in wedlock, then a birth certificate is good enough.
Do y'all know how to get immigration detention money back? No.
I have not had experience with that. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Hello, thank you for your time. You're welcome.
Thank you for watching.
Is it a big problem if my wife is the petitioner and is a stay-at-home mom, and I, the DACA recipient, am the sole breadwinner? I don't think it's necessarily a problem.
No. Do you make enough on your own income to meet the poverty guidelines? Because if you do, then you can combine your income with her. Even if her income is zero, you can still add up zero and however much you make, and that would be the household income, and then you would be eligible to file the 864. She has to file the 864. She fills it out in her perspective and adds your income on there. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Tell us if that made sense.
Yes, let us know.
Okay. Can you do AOS with a removal order?
Yes and no. So if you qualify for AOS and all, with all of its requirements, but you have a removal order, can you eventually do AOS? Yes. Can you get AOS approved without handling that removal order first? No. So in this case, this is the one where I'm going to say, please call Charles Cook and have a consultation with him and let him know that you want him to handle your AOS case. He has a group of DACA recipients and other individuals, many of which are in this group. I'm going to throw out like 3 names because I know that they're pretty open about it. Hugo, which is our, stellar AP traveler. Wilmer and Cesar are all individuals that have either final removal orders or some type of removal proceeding, and they have an AOS case or they're planning to file an AOS case. So when you have a removal order, final or not, the only way for AOS to get approved is for you to handle that deportation or removal order by getting it reopened and then terminated. That is the only way to move forward. And it's not that you're not eligible for AOS, it's that USCIS doesn't have jurisdiction over your case. Because you have a removal order or removal proceedings, they're not allowed to adjudicate your case. So they have to throw it back at you and say, we can't process your case. We don't have jurisdiction over it. The immigration judge has jurisdiction over it. And that takes a really long time because the courts are so backed up. But definitely, please, 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 in your case, reach out to Charles Cook. Let him know, hey, I heard about you on Dreamers Together. I have a removal order and I want to do AOS. They told me to reach out to you. And he'll put you in that group. Also, if you can make a post on our AOS group, or if you see, actually put in removal in the search bar and you're going to see other posts where we've tagged Hugo, Wilmer, and Cesar, and, respond to one of those comments where they're tagged and tell them that you want to join their group. They have like a little group of people that they keep informed on that. And they have contact with Charles Cook, like they communicate back and forth. I think they have they're hoping to take some steps, they're hoping to take some like lawsuit steps to force the immigration judges to like open and terminate those cases faster because they're taking a long time compared to how much they were taking before. Sorry for the long explanation, but it is possible, but please reach out to them.
Yes, and this is the name of his firm. It's Cook Baxter Immigration LLC. So you can look them up on Facebook, and if you don't have Facebook, I believe you can just Google it, and then it'll give you all the information.
Their website is super easy to remember. It's immigration.net.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Immigration.net. There you go.
So www.immigration.net.
That is so simple.
Yeah, I wonder how they got that because it's not easy to get websites nowadays.
Thank you. I appreciate you, girls. I've learned so much.
Oh, yay. You're welcome.
Marisol said, "Hola, chulas."
Mari.
I love Marisol. Okay, Marisol said, "If my spouse and I have separate taxes and bank accounts due to businesses, would that be an issue?"
No, you're good. As long as you show bona fide marriage evidence, the finances is not a big issue. As long as your spouse is making enough to be your petitioner and meet the requirements for the 864, then you're fine.
Okay. Pueden hacer un live hablando de cómo un hijo de 21 años puede pedir a su mamá y su padrastro. Tenemos DACA, hicimos advance parole y queremos que mi hijo haga la petición ya. Yeah, vamos a hacer un live en...
María, lo podemos hablar ahorita.
Yeah, ¿tú también?
Básicamente lo que va a determinar si un hijo mayor de 21 o 21 puede pedir a un padrastro es cuántos años tenía ese hijo ciudadano cuando usted o la mamá se casó con el padrastro. La fecha clave o la edad clave es 18. So, mientras tanto, usted se casó con el padrastro antes de que el niño o la niña cumplió 18, entonces legalmente ellos pueden pedir por su padrastro a través de AOS si es que los dos ya tienen sus entradas legales. Ahora, en términos de cuál es el proceso de AOS cuando es un hijo pidiendo a una madre o un hijo pidiendo a un padrastro, es básicamente igual que cuando uno lo está pidiendo a través de su pareja. La única diferencia es que no tiene que demostrar comprobante de un matrimonio de buena fe. Solo tiene que demostrar que usted es la mamá a través de un certificado de nacimiento. Y para el padrastro es un poquito diferente. Él tiene que enviar el certificado de nacimiento de ella demostrando que usted es la mamá y luego el certificado de matrimonio demostrando que él se casó con usted antes de que ella cumpliera 18. Lo resto es todo igual. La única otra diferencia obviamente es de que no tienen que enviar el formulario 130A porque eso solo se envía cuando el patrocinador es su esposo o esposa ciudadana. Tenemos un cover letter. La verdad que tenemos un cover letter que dice para hijos pidiendo a sus padres, pero el cover letter que dice AOS cover letter sirve igual, porque el proceso igual, solo tiene que completamente negar la petición, la aplicación 130A y la sección entera que tiene que ver con comprobantes de matrimonio en buena fe. Lo resto es todo lo mismo. Pero si tiene alguna pregunta específica y aún estado ahorita en el video vivo, haga la pregunta y con gusto se la contestamos.
Okay, let's see. I sent my AOS 9 months ago under citizen 21 son. I did advance parole. My work permit expires April 2023. In case I didn't hear from my AOS and my work permit expires only, also, what other options do I have? Can my lawyer ask for an extension in my work permit? If it's a DACA one, I don't think you get an extension.
No, for your DACA one, you have to renew it.
Yeah.
And you should keep renewing again. We said it a few times now, but keep renewing your DACA while your AOS is pending. Please don't avoid that. It's very important. If it's not a DACA one and you're talking about your AOS work permit, those are being extended automatically. USCIS had announced, I don't remember the exact dates, but they're being extended automatically. So the work permit is good either way. Traditionally, though, if you don't have an automatic extension under AOS work permit, you can file a renewal of the work permit. You just file another I-765. It's free again, and you just include the notice of receipt of your 485 petition, of your adjustment of status petition. You mentioned you have a lawyer, so yeah, your lawyer can request an extension if need be, but work permits right now under AOS are being extended automatically.
Under AOS?
Under AOS, yes, please. Under AOS, not the DACA ones.
Okay. How do I schedule a review? Do you have those open yet, Natalie?
I do. I have them open. If you Go into our group, AOS group, and search AOS review or packet review. You should see a few posts about it, and we have the link, a Calendly link. You can click on the link, look at the dates that are available, and then just schedule from there. Anybody that is going to schedule a review, just know that once you schedule the review, you get 2 emails. You get an email from us with instructions, and then you get another email with a document that you need to e-sign. It's a DocuSign document. So if you don't get it within 24 to 48 hours, please check your spam, because I've noticed that for some people it goes into their spam in their email.
Okay. Marisol said, my honest experience with Nat helping me with AOS is 10 out of 10. Wow.
Thank you, Mari.
What happens when your DACA expires before you get the other one? Can they fire you from work? Yes, they can. So you make sure that you guys are renewing 4 to 5 months before your DACA expires, because DACA time frame right now is 4 to 8 months for you to receive your renewal. You could get it in 2 weeks, or you could get it in 8 months, but let's not take that chance.
But most people are being renewed within that time frame of the 4 to 5 months, guys. So send your renewals on time.
Back down. It was like a little. There was like a little time where it was like people were getting them in like a week and 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's when everybody got confident and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait. Don't wait. Send it in time, please. Send it in time." But yes, your job can fire you. Sometimes what you can do, depending on your employer, is you can request a leave of absence. So with a leave of absence, you don't get paid, you're not working, but they hold your position open for you to come back. But that is, up to the employer. There's nothing legally that requires them to hold your position.
You just gotta talk to your employer and see if they'll give you a chance and wait for you. And yeah, like Natalie said, get that leave of absence. That's the only thing you can do.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for all your answers. How safe is shit traveling with a combo card? Very safe. I've already done it 4 times. 4 times. Yeah.
Super safe.
Yeah, it is. It's like a mini green card, literally. I mean, you still go to second inspection and all of that, but to the cuartito, but it's nothing crazy. Yeah.
And they're even more, like, most CPB officers are even more knowledgeable about the combo card than they are like an AP document, because there's nothing for them to like check. There's no dates they have to check. There's no multiple or single entries. Just make sure that you're coming back before that combo card expires and you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be out of the country for more than 90 days at a time, please. And no more, and never go over 180 days in a year. Please. Ooh. That's very, very important for future ability to like get citizenship. It's never a good idea. If you're not a citizen, it's never a good idea to travel more than 90 days at a time, and in total more than 180 days of the year outside of the US.
But is that consecutive, or like 3 days in March, 7 days in May?
So never should you should never have a single trip that's more than 90 days. Avoid it if possible. And then overall, so aggregate, you should never have 180 days outside of the US. So in any given you should never, within the last 365 days, you should never have 180 days of those outside of the US. Does that make sense? Like if you like what Laura was saying, right? If you were 3 days in Mexico in January, and then you went to Jamaica for 2 weeks, and then if you start adding those up and you're getting close to the 180, stay here. Please just stay here. Wait till the next year and then travel some more, but for now, just stay here.
That's my daughter. Okay. This group has all the information we need and more. So grateful for you guys.
Thank you, Adriana.
María, ¿me pueden dar la información de las personas que me puedan ayudar con la petición de mi hijo para mí y mi esposo? Los que dijimos hace ratito eran ellos. Cook Baxter Immigration. Voy a hablar, esos son los abogados que tenemos para Dreamers Together.
Hay otros más también, William McLean, Gloria Cárdenas es otra. Pero como habíamos comentado anteriormente, si no tienen problemas de múltiple entradas y no tienen problemas de deportación, no tienen problemas de cargos criminales, es completamente posible que ustedes hagan sus propias peticiones con la ayuda de las guías en el grupo, hagan sus preguntas, le ayudamos. Y le podemos revisar el paquete si quisiera. Es opción de usted, cualquiera de las opciones que quiera tomar, o lo hace usted solita o va con un abogado. Cualquiera de las dos es aceptable.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. She said, can you see it now? Can you see them?
I can, because now I'm on the phone.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Jennifer. Muchas gracias. Se agradece.
What happens after the 2-year provisional? Is that like the conditional green card?
I think that's what she means. Well, what happens after the 2-year green card is you don't have a green card. So here's the important thing about the 2-year conditional green card. You have to file to remove your conditions within 90 days of your expiration. Okay. So that means 90 days before it expires, you should be filing for removal of conditions. If you file on time, then you get to keep that green card. It's like almost auto extended while they're processing your removal of conditions. So it's really, really important for you guys to keep that in mind. 90 days. And 90 days does not mean 3 months. Okay. 90 days means 90 days. You have to count backwards 90 days because some months have 31 days, some months have 28 days. So it has to be 90 days. You can do 89, you can do 87, 90 or below. It just can't be before more. It can't be more than 90 days before your expiration. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense too.
That basically says it all. ¿Qué formulario tengo que llenar si tengo 40 créditos, 10 años de trabajo, pero uno de 2012 muestra menos de $600? I-864 Easy o I-864. Y mi esposo hace el I-864 con el ingreso de su esposo.
Sí.
Más fácil.
Creo que Jennifer, yo te estábamos comunicando un poquito en el grupo. Y creo que era usted. Perdón si no era usted, pero creo que era usted. Pero si no tiene los 40 créditos o los 10 años, porque le falta un año, creo que es usted, porque el de 600 en el 2012 me suena muy... creo que es usted. Creo que a usted le había dicho que mirara su W2 del 2022 y que si ahí en la caja 3 salía más de 6,040 que podía enviar el statement del Social Security con la copia del W2 para aprovechar de los 4 créditos del 2022. Pero si su esposo gana lo suficiente, es mucho más simple enviar el 864. So, envíe el 864 y no se tienen que preocupar, ni se va a tener que quebrar la cabeza preguntándose si acaso los oficiales de UCIS van a entender de que usted tiene los 40 créditos.
Yeah. Mi esposa tiene esperando 13 meses por su ciudadanía. Yo tengo DACA y entrada legal. ¿Hay forma de hacerle expedite a su N40? I think it's N400.
N400.
I don't know.
Realmente no hay maneras de expedite el proceso de la ciudadanía, a lo menos de que le conviene al gobierno de que ella tenga ciudadanía. Y técnicamente 13 meses aún está dentro de lo normal para el proceso de una ciudadanía. Ahorita mismo la ciudadanía mínimo se está demorando 12 meses y alrededor de entre casi lo mismo que el ajuste de estatus, la verdad. Se están demorando entre 12 a 16 meses. Ya están en el mes 13, eso no creo que le quede mucho más de espera, esperando que luego le llegue el aviso de la entrevista. Pero lo mejor que pueden hacer es seguir esperando, a lo menos de que, por ejemplo, como le dije, si su esposa tiene algún tipo de empleo especial, como una doctora, una cirujana o algo así, a donde le conviene al público, al gobierno, al país, de que ella tenga su ciudadanía lo más pronto posible, O si ella tiene que ver con, digamos, el militar, a veces por eso también aprueban un expedite, pero afuera de esas razones realmente no los aprueban muy frecuente, casi nunca, la verdad, especialmente que dado que 13 meses aún está dentro del tiempo adecuado para el proceso de la ciudadanía.
Thank you for the information and your time, ladies. Here we
You're
go.
welcome.
Okay, this one said, hi, can a sibling be a petitioner for AOS after entering with AP?
No. AP legal entry does absolutely nothing when your petitioner is a U.S. sibling. The only way that you can AOS through a petition from a U.S. sibling is if you have 245I grandfathering. And if you have 245I grandfathering, your legal entry is redundant. It's irrelevant. We've said this a couple times, but just to be clear, and it's posted on the page a few times, generally, AOS is only applicable for individuals that have a U.S. citizen petitioner that they are an immediate relative of. So an immediate relative is a spouse, a parent of a U.S. citizen that's over 21, or a child of a U.S. citizen if you are currently under 21. So I'm just going to repeat that one more time. You're only eligible for AOS with a legal entry if your petitioner is either your U.S. citizen spouse, your child once they are 21, or your parent, but only if you are currently under 21. All other avenues, all other petitioners, whether it be your permanent resident spouse, your parent and you're over 21, your sibling, your employer, none of those are eligible for AOS unless you have 245I grandfathering. And that's generally for anybody who's undocumented, and generally for anybody who's a DACA recipient. Other statuses are, have other avenues and other eligibility requirements, but specifically for DACA recipients or anybody who's undocumented, anybody that doesn't have current legal status, that's what's going to be the rule essentially. Oh, I think you're on mute, Laura. There you go.
Says, I'm learning a lot. Thank you, Laura. Oh, mommy. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, that's so cute.
She wants to say hi. Hold on. Say hi. Say hi.
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 Oh, you're so cute.
Say thank you. Okay. All right. This is the one about the son petitioning the mom and the stepdad.
Oh, okay, great.
Si nos casamos antes de que mi hijo cumpliera 18. Entonces, eso es bueno. Ahora solo quiero saber qué aplicaciones llenar para no cometer ningún error. No encuentro las guías en el grupo en orden como Advanced Parole. Sí están, María. Pues, está. Mire. Let's see. Aquí.
Están las guías. Si está en su celular, en móvil, a la mano izquierda arribita deberían haber como 3 líneas, que es como el menú. Usted clique ahí y va a salir la palabra guías o guides, y ahí tenemos varias guías dependiendo su situación. Y hay una específicamente para cuando un hijo ciudadano está pidiendo a un padre. So puede cliquear esa guía y leerla, familiarizarse con el proceso. Pero sí, si su hijo, si usted se casó antes de que su hijo cumpliera 18, obviamente puede pedir a los dos. Y los formularios que tiene que llenar en total, en todos completos, van a ser el I-130, que es la petición, el I-485, que es el ajuste de estatus, el I-864, que es el formulario financiero, el I-693, que es técnicamente el examen médico, y luego los 2 que son opcionales, pero que nosotros recomendamos, es la I-165, 165, perdón, 765, híjoles. Y 765, que es para el permiso de trabajo, y el I-131, que es el permiso de AP que puede uno conseguir debajo del AOS. Esos son los formularios. 130, 485, 864, 693, 765 y 131.
Y María, ¿tu nombre en Facebook es María Guadalupe Anaya? Porque encontré una nomás para poder etiquetarte en esa guía. Okay, I came here when I was 8. My parents are getting ready to do AOS. Do they have to do the 601 waiver at the same time? Ooh,
Who's petitioning for them is my question.
They're doing it AOS. They shouldn't have to do a waiver. So that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, remember, guys, we said this in the beginning, right? AOS is not green card. AOS is specifically adjustment of status to get a green card, because there's two processes. There's AOS and then there's consular process. With AOS, you're doing everything within the United States, so you shouldn't have to fill out a 601 waiver or a 601A waiver. So if you're still on the live, let us know who the petitioner is and whether they're planning on doing everything within the United States or consular, and then maybe we can help you out with a little more information.
And also remember, guys, we are an AOS group, so we don't really assist or are able to guide too much with consular process, because that is a completely different monster on its own. So for that, I believe you definitely do need to have legal counsel, because a lot of stuff you need a lot of stuff.
If you need a waiver, like a 601A waiver, you definitely need legal counsel.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. If you need a 601A or a 601, you need legal counsel. You need an attorney.
But then how would you know that you need that? So definitely So we can try to give you as much information as, little stuff that we know, but we really just want to try to concentrate on AOS. But Adriana, you said AOS, so let's try to figure out who's the petitioner and what exactly is going on. I think what she's saying is that they brought her here when she was 8. So do they have to get a waiver because of the whole, they brought her with them?
Oh, I see.
I think that's what that's kind of saying. But let's see what
unless if it's that, the only reason they would need one is if you ever disclosed to USCIS that they brought you over. So if that's the case, like Adriana, if you have DACA or some type of status that you got through USCIS and you want to know, did I ever disclose this, or did a lawyer ever disclose this on my behalf? If they filled out your paperwork, you can request a FOIA from USCIS for all of your entire file and supporting documents, and then just look through them and see if that was ever disclosed on there. But if that's the question, yeah, you definitely may want to reach out to Charles Cook, Willie McLean, Gloria Cardenas, Katie Traversky.
She replied, but it's still kind of vague, because it says that her grandma is petitioning her parents. But is your grandma a resident?
Oh, they have 245I. That's why.
I didn't see
there. It is.
Okay. The waiver is for bringing
legally. Okay, yeah. If they have 245I, and they need a waiver for bringing you here legally, like I said, they only need the waiver if they've disclosed it. But I think Gloria Cardenas, the lawyer, had her live yesterday, and she mentioned that they can file a waiver with their AOS admitting that they brought you over, and file the waiver preemptively. I would suggest that you reach out to Gloria Cardenas or Charles Cook, and have them handle their AOS case if you don't already have a lawyer. If you do have a lawyer, the only thing we can recommend is to be very, very proactive, ask questions, and demand a straightforward answer.
So
you can understand it, because you guys are paying these lawyers a lot of money. And you're not just paying them money so that their legal secretary or their paralegal can, fill out the forms for them. You're paying for their legal expertise and their advisement. So ask your questions and expect answers, and demand answers if they're not giving them to you. That's why you're paying for them.
Okay. Is there anything different I should put in my DACA renewal after coming in with AP? I think just your last entry. I think that's the.
Yeah,
Is there
you have
anything
to
else?
you just have to update your last entry. I think there's a section. See, I haven't traveled on AP myself, so I never fill it out. But I think there is a section that asks about departures, like if you, since your last renewal, have you departed the U.S., and that's where you can fill out also your AP information. But that's about it. There's nothing else special that you have to do besides just, changing your entry information.
There you go. I have an I-130 approved since 2020. I did advanced parole in 2022. Been married to a U.S. citizen and sent AOS for 2022. My DACA will expire 6/23. I expedited for so far no response. I already sent them RFE docs. I'm getting nervous for my DACA to expire. What should I do now? No, you don't have to contact Congressman because you still have to renew your DACA regardless until you have a green card in hand. That is the recommendation.
Yes.
So.
What should you do? Renew your DACA. That is what you should do. Even honestly, even if it's like you renew your DACA and then you get approved a couple months afterwards, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you run the risk of getting the AOS denied for whatever reason that you may not have thought of, and then putting yourself in a position where you don't have an active DACA protecting you against removal proceedings. So what you should do is renew your DACA. You said your DACA expires in June, so February is basically the last of the 120 days before that you're supposed to renew. I wouldn't know what else to tell you besides renew your DACA. You are getting close to hitting a year on that, so hopefully you get approved soon. But I personally, I would just renew my DACA.
Yeah. Okay. Can I expedite my I-765 and I-131 even if I didn't send my medical exam in the packet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Okay. I'm still waiting for AOS. They received December 8th, and 4 days after I got the paper, they are going to reuse my biometrics. And now what's next? My case is in National Benefit Center. Well, the national wait time is 12 months to 18 months, so you still got a long way to go. It's only been a month. But you live in San Diego, so you live in California. I don't know.
So you might go quick.
Yeah.
We literally just had one of our group members post today that their AOS was approved under 60 days. So, and they sent their medical with their packet, so that's why they, got everything done, no interview or anything. For you, Nicolas, if you sent in your medical with your packet, there really is no other extra step unless for some reason you were to get an RFE. It's really just a wait game now. Hopefully, if you applied for the 131 and 765, you might get your combo card in between then and the approval. But if you didn't send your medical with your packet, then you're going to get a deficiency notice, which is basically just a courtesy letter of USCIS telling you like, hey, you didn't send in your medical packet. We need it. You're going to have to send it in later when we let you know or bring it to the interview. But don't send it until you get an RFE for it. Not sure, if you sent yours.
For you to send it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So right now it's just the wait game. I think everybody that files for AOS should expect to wait at least 16 months. That should be your countdown. And if you get approved before 16 months, like it just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I always tell people, like people who ask me, like here in my area, friends and family that I help, they're always like, oh, like I heard somebody got it in this amount of time or that amount of time. I'm like, minimum 12 months. I'm telling you, minimum 12 months. You get it before is a cherry on top, but expect to wait at least 12 months.
Yeah, let's not get impatient. All right. Can you travel with AP through DACA while you wait for AOS, or it has to be the combo card? I think Charles had clarified that they can, right? That you can.
Charles' exact words were, it's preferred if you wait for your combo card, unless you have an emergent reason to use your AP. So that's what Charles said. So what does that mean is technically you can, but take this message with the fact that Charles was the president of the immigration of the IALA, And he is saying, preferably don't travel with your AP, your DACA AP until you get your, he said, preferably wait for your AOS combo card. But if it's an emergency, a true emergency, and you have to travel, you should be okay traveling with your AP. But all I will say is there's probably a reason why he's saying he would prefer that you wait for your combo card.
Yep. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up on this one because I kind of have to. Okay, so she had said, can I expedite my I-765 even if I didn't send my medical exam? We said yes. And then she said, also, my DACA expires in August. Can I use that as a reason in case they are a FEMI?
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect reason for if you're going to expedite. Because she's saying she wants to expedite her 765, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can use that as financial loss.
That is a perfect reason. And pro tip, if you can convince your HR department, supervisor, manager, or employer to make a very, very, very brief letter on company letterhead that says, Ana Laura, we need your updated DACA card by no later than this date, or else we will have to put you on leave or terminate you, and you turn that in, even better. Even more proof as to why you need it expedited.
Here you go. I hope that helps. Okay. Adoro este grupo y gracias a Dios los manda a ustedes para ayudarnos a no regalar nuestro dinero que tanto trabajo nos cuesta. Oh.
Gracias, María, por sus palabras.
Ya la etiqueté en la guía en el grupo para que pueda verlo. Okay, this was another question.
Oh, that was a follow-up to someone else.
Yeah, the one where the grandma is doing the 245I.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, they're saying that they do have DACA. Okay,
DACA.
yeah, if you have DACA and you didn't fill out your initial DACA application, you definitely may want to check your FOIA and see if it was disclosed that you were brought, if you entered you entered without inspection with your parents. That may be something you want to look at.
There you go. Can I ask for AP para ir a ver un tío enfermo o solo tiene que ser padre su abuelo? Sí puede ser un tío, solo tiene que comprobar que es su tío. So van a necesitar como el birth certificate.
Certificado de nacimiento.
Ajá, de su tío y luego tal vez de su papá y de su abuelo, nomás para que se vea que son hermanos o que es su tío. Tiene que hacer algún tipo de prueba.
Como que si estuviera haciendo un árbol de familia, un lineaje de familia con los certificados de nacimientos. So, tiene que hacer como una conexión. Usted a uno de sus padres, el que sea que es hermano de su tío, al abuelo que ellos comparten, al padre que ellos comparten, al abuelo que ellos comparten y luego el del tío. Van a ser más certificados de nacimientos que si fuera de, por ejemplo, su padre o su abuelo, pero igual lo puede hacer.
Ahí está. Sí se puede. So, y también escriba una affidavit o una
declaración.
Una declaración, disculpe. Escriba una muy buena de por qué tiene que ir a verlo, por qué urge y por qué necesita. Okay. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
You're welcome.
Maria, give me an update about that FOIA for your possible 245I or something like that.
Ok, de nada, Nicolás. Entonces está bien si mandó todo junto. Ojalá todos sí lo aprueben pronto, como es de California.
Sí, ojalá sea rapidito. Oh, you're welcome.
I think that's it, guys. We have like 2 more minutes. We are at 2 hours. This
was a long one.
Yeah. I think last time it was 2 hours too.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to see because I can kind of see the comments now and see if we have any others.
They're all saying thank you. They're all saying bye to us. Oh, this one. I was just approved a bona fide C-14 through U visa and need to renew DACA that expires. I will renew DACA and do AP. Is this recommended? Oh, I don't know this one.
Your U visa was just approved for bona fide. Okay, so your U visa status hasn't been approved. You just got the bona fide work permit. From my understanding, and I believe Charles confirmed this, as long as your actual U visa status hasn't been approved, you're okay to travel on AP. But once your U visa is approved, do not travel on your DACA AP. That's the only thing that I can kind of say about that. Should definitely though keep renewing your DACA. That's for sure.
There you go. Okay. Chicas, me recomiendan que renueve mi DACA o no. Se me expira en agosto y mi hijo le va a hacer la petición este mes.
Sí.
Sí.
Renueve su DACA, por favor. Muy importante que renueve su DACA porque, como hemos dicho, el ajuste de estatus en general se está demorando entre 12 a 16 meses y lo más importante es que usted mantenga su estatus de DACA y su protección contra deportación, que es lo que le otorga el DACA, activo durante todo el proceso que está esperando la residencia.
Okay. Can I ask for AP to go see my brother that I haven't seen in 23 years or only if someone is sick? It has to be a humanitarian reason. So there has to be like an urgent reason or, for you to go. You can't just put that, you want to see your brother that you haven't seen. So if, for some reason, something's going on with him, that would probably be your best bet. Or try to use a personal reason, maybe you need to go have dental done or it's more affordable out there. But you do need to have a reason that falls under what USCIS approves advanced parole for.
Yeah, you can't just say like, I haven't seen my brother in this many years and want to see him. But it doesn't have to be that he's like gravely ill, okay? Mm-hmm. He could literally just, have, like, let's say your brother has diabetes. Dios no lo quiera, right? But let's say he has some type of illness, diabetes, high blood pressure. He's going to get a procedure soon and he just wants you to like help him recover from it. Any of those things. It doesn't have to be someone who's like urgently on a, in hospice or on, terminal, that in order for you to get an AP approved. But even if he doesn't have anything like that, if you have any other family members that live in the same country, you can use that. Or like Laura said, if you have a medical procedure that you need, like braces, dental treatment, I've seen people get it for LASIK, fertility treatments, anything that you can think of to warrant an AP, you can apply for that as well.
Okay, Dulce. Ana Laura said, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I wouldn't be able to get that HR letter. Can I still use that reason?
Yeah.
For financial.
Yeah, because she said that her DACA permit is expiring. If they don't ask, are you a stay-at-home mom? I wouldn't give them that information. I would just say my DACA is expiring. And this is why I need my new DACA, my AOS DACA to be expedited. Also, if you, by any chance, doesn't necessarily mean you are employed or that you fully intend to start a job, but if you just so happen to have applied and maybe gotten an offer, you can always say that you have gotten a job offer, but that you're not able to take it without a valid work permit. And the one that you have is expiring, so they're not going to accept the expiring one. So that's something else that you can do if you happen to apply for places, right? You could always say that you are intending to apply for places to work, and that a lot of the places that you're applying to are requesting proof of valid work permit. So that's another thing that you can write on there. Kind of have to be creative with it.
Mm-hmm. Around how long do combo cards take after doing AOS? Oh, could take up to 6 to 10 months, I want to say, but
yeah, it really can take up to. I mean, I've seen people who don't expedite it and get it in 3 months, and then I've seen people who expedite it and it takes like 9 months. It used to be, the good old days was that it was almost like given that you sent your AOS and you would have your combo card within 3 to 6 months. Like 6 was
Yeah.
the maximum, but we are not in those times anymore. So with the combo card, it really is like, first of all, we don't even know if you're going to get a combo card. And then second of all, we don't know how long it's going to take to expedite it. One thing I have been meaning to say though, and this might be a little controversial, but if you don't need a combo card, guys, like if you fully do not intend to travel, don't expedite it just for the purpose of expediting it. Like just, I would say expedite it if you actually need it, like you need it now, because you have to think about it one way. Like if you think about the collective community of people who are applying for AOS or DACA recipients applying for AOS, if someone truly does need it expedited, like they have a family member they want to visit, they have work purposes for why they need to travel, and all of us are expediting it, it's just going to make it that much harder for the person that actually needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't intend to travel at all outside of the US. I have no reason to. I filed an I-131 in case there was an emergency and I needed to, but I don't plan on expediting either of my 765 or my 131 because I don't need it. And so that allows that expediting possibility to be open for other people who actually need it.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have, guys. We'll try to go over all the other comments and answer in the comments, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and oh, she said she made a step-by-step guide on how to do the FOA.
Yes, Maria, yay. Yes, because we have people ask about that all the time, and I try to like talk them through it through the comments, and I've been meaning to do it, but it's been hard to find time. So yes, thank you so much.
So we'll go ahead and have Maria post that.
Yes.
But yes, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this live. Thank you for everybody that joined us in these 2 hours. If there's any pending questions, we will go ahead and answer them in the comments. You guys can always publish a post, ask whatever you need answers to. We try our hardest to get to them and answer the best out to our knowledge.
Yes. So. Please just be patient with us, guys. I've said it before, but every single person, moderator, administrator that is on the D2G, the Dreamers Together's groups are volunteers. We volunteer our time because we care about the community, because we want to help you guys. We want to see as many of you guys be successful in your filings, whether it be for AP or AOS. So just please be patient with us. If you posted something and it hasn't been published in the group yet, it's either because we're all working, because we do have full-time jobs, most of us, or we're full-time parents, or we don't have the answer for it yet. So we're waiting for one of us who does have the answer, but to be available to answer it for you. I always tell people, if I'm communicating with you on the post, like I've been replying to your comments and all of a sudden I don't come back and it's been like 2 days, just tag me in the comment again. It may have been that your notification got lost within all the notifications that we get throughout the day. So just be patient with us. We're here to help and we're more than happy to help.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and we will see you again, hopefully maybe by next month. We'll try to make this like a monthly thing. Yeah. Because I feel like it gets a lot of information out, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good questions. So yeah, we'll definitely see you guys next month.
Yep. Let us know. Bye, guys.
Bye. You guys have a good night.